So, it's another day, another video. The football world, the news around it is starting to be more movement now. Clubs are actually starting to act like football clubs, even though because the last month they must have all just sat on their arses and done fuck all. Apart from Real Madrid, who have signed one of the best players in the world and Kylian Mbappe, everyone else seems to forgotten that they have jobs to do and fulfill. Now, Manchester United, straight into the news. Manchester United have stolen, by the way, definitely haven't paid them the money. We stole Dan Ashworth off that other team that claims to be United up in the northeast. Who even are they? Let's be honest. Some small little tin pot club. It says here, David Ornstein. Manchester United agreed deal with Newcastle United, even though we're going to talk about the con that this football club is. Yeah, it's embarrassing. They're actually the most shameless club on earth, and they shouldn't be called Newcastle United. They should be called Newcastle FC. Take the United out of the name. Yeah, an embarrassment. That is a fugazi. They should not have that name there. They should not have United there. But anyways, agreed deal with Newcastle United to appoint Dan Ashworth as sporting director. Move delayed by Man United and Newcastle United struggling to compromise. No. They wanted like 30 million or something, or 20 million for him. Yeah, we aren't paying that, brother. He's a DOF, mate. He's not a footballer. On a compensation package. By the way, right, it's interesting how they say that. And all the Newcastle fans are up in arms about it. Oh, we don't need him, and all this bollocks. And they try to hold us to ransom. Now I will talk about this. Dan Ashworth. How did he join Newcastle? They bought him. They bought him off Brighton. Did they steal him off Brighton? You lose them, how you get them. Famous saying in life, isn't it? You lose them, how you get them. And we clearly saw they lost him, how they got him. Which it just proves everything. Proves that there'll never be a rivalry there. Like, we stole your DOF. We beat you in the last 2 cup finals you've been. Stop trying to force a rivalry with us. Oh, but we beat you 3 times in a row. Ooh, in irrelevant games and all that. That's all they can celebrate. At the end of the day, there'll never be a rivalry there. Dan Ashworth is now us. He's come to the biggest club in England. Am I excited? I mean, he's better than the bankers we have had in charge the last 10 years. Yes. However, we do need to remember he is a failed man at Newcastle and at Brighton. He failed at Newcastle, despite what people tell you. Yes, Newcastle got better. Yes, Brighton got better. And yes, I understand that he isn't going to have the finances at Brighton because the owner won't give it to him. And obviously, the Newcastle owners will give him the finances, but they're doing this whole PSR crap and all this shit that needs to be stopped, needs to be taken out of Premier League football, needs to be taken out of English football, this PSR nonsense. It's just another thing for these clubs to hide behind. It really is. As we've seen, no Premier League club, apart from Chelsea, who signed a player on a free, we're going to get on to soon, signed that tossing geezer on a free. I can't really think of many of it, or at least big 6 clubs, sign players before July. It is just a thing Premier League clubs be hide behind. But anyways, I digress. It's good to finally get him on board. Now we can actually go and get some signings. We're looking at 4 players, as I say. Delit's a new one. Xerxes and Agate I spoke about in my last video. And who was the other one? Who's the other geezer we're looking at? Brantford, of course, Brantford. And I definitely think they're 4 decent players. I've never watched Xerxes, so I'll never comment on him. But as I said, we do need some more experience as well. We can get these young players that have potential to go even higher and are at a half decent level now, but you need experience around them. You need players that have been there and done it and proven it. And obviously, you don't want to get a washed up 35-year-old. You want to get a player who's 28, 29 or 27, 26, at least been at when they're young. At least when they're young, win trophies and proven that they can do it at the top level. Hopefully, Dan Ashworth, Omar Barada and all that and co. We're now essentially assembling our own Avengers. Avengers assemble at Man United at the minute. So Whether it'll be a success, I'm not going to be this one that sits there and hypes it all up. For me, trust is earned, not given. You know what I mean? And respect is earned, not given. As we say, I will wait and I'll hold my breath and I will wait and see what they do in not only this transfer window and the upcoming transfer window, because I know it's just difficult to just do it all in one window. I understand that. So yeah, I will just, as I say, I will hold my breath and see if it's going to be, if they're a success. If they're not a success, I'll call it out. But yeah, he hasn't exactly done amazing at Newcastle or done amazing at Brighton. But he is quite, what's that? I don't know the word I'm looking for. But like, you know, when someone's quite like highly touted, is that the word? Is that the buzzword that I need to look for? Highly touted in his job at the clubs he's been at. Anyways, I now move on. We're going to talk about Chelsea and Spurs signing 2 championship midfielders and all their fans. Well, to be fair, I haven't seen Tottenham fans, but I imagine so with that fucking club, the state that club's in. Yeah, that their fan base are hyping up that dross. 40 million, by the way, on a geezer who's only played 1 season in the Championship. And I don't know how much Chelsea bought Dewsbury Hall for. They nicked him off Brighton. No shock there. Oh, what, Chelsea? Chelsea signed a player because they were going to go to another club? Like the hipsters, Brighton. I mean, when they basically nicked half of fucking Brighton's club. They might as well just bought Brighton at this point. Todd Bowley in Clown Lake might as well just bought Brighton at this point. It would have probably been cheaper than what they've done at Chelsea, right? And as I say, that they're in a fucking mess. And Chelsea fans are sitting there all on Twitter hyping it up. I just tweeted a Chelsea fan. I said about hyping up these deals, and they're all sitting there going, "You're a United fan. How dare you?" I can talk as a United fan because I've seen it from experience. Yeah, that club is buried. That club has been buried. It's been absolutely buried to the core, and their fan base are hyping up. Which fan base, right? Man United fans didn't do this. I know we didn't do this, right? Or we might have. I don't know, right? But we definitely did this 2 years in. We definitely did not do this 2 years in, yeah? And there were a lot of fans with standards. Which fan base is going to get rid of his club, is going to get rid of Christensen, Rudiger, and Thiago Silva, 3 elite centre-backs. Christensen, not so much. Rudiger's now a Champions League winner. Thiago Silva, we already know. Sign Dazarsi, Tosin, and Benoit Badashile, and talk as if they're doing a good job, and not call this out and say, "Oh, you're a United fan, how dare you talk about this," and all this shit. That club is buried. They are not going to win anything. They've just signed a championship manager, championship footballers. You're going to get championship results. If it weren't for Cole Palmer last season, they probably would have been, they definitely would have been bottom half, right? And I get you can't do if buts and maybes, but it's true. They would have been bottom half. And they're hyping up championship ballers, signing championship players from championship clubs like Fulham. Obviously, Leicester are now back in the Prem. But Dewsbury Hall was a championship baller. He's only ever really done it in the Championship. And yeah, I know he played in the Premier League the season before, but he got relegated. Therefore, he's only ever done it in the Championship. And to me, it is just hilarious. It is hilarious. Seeing this club that once had the highest standards in English football, hence why they sacked all their managers. Yeah, because as soon as their managers failed, you're potted, mate. That's Real Madrid level standards. Yeah, and now they seem to be hyping up signing championship footballers on low wages to fit their low wage structure, which will never sign elite players. They're like, "Oh, we didn't want Elise. His wages were too high." No, Elise rejected you, mate. It's not his wages were too high. He rejected you. He didn't want to go to you, and you know it's true because this is it. You know Chelsea are PR'd up to the max, right? And their owners are taking the absolute piss out of their football club, right? When you see, we didn't sign Elise because of wages. 2 days after, Chelsea to launch an immaculate bid for Alexander Isak for 150 million. Why does that work then? So Elise's wages were too big, and what do you think Alexander Isak's going to want? Elite players, well, I'm not saying Elise's elite, but good players And when he's got Bayern and Man United wanting him, he's going to want wages that they're going to pay him. He's going to want it at Chelsea. He's not going to go to Chelsea, who are in a worse position than Man United and a worse position than Bayern Munich. Yeah, and even though Man United and Bayern Munich are both finished, Chelsea are fucking buried. And the thing is, the reason why Chelsea are buried is because they don't see it yet. You will see one day. Yeah, Chelsea are buried. Yeah, you'll see. Why would he go to Chelsea on less wages when they've got less chance of winning trophies than both clubs? And less chance, and less chance of doing anything in the league, but you know what I mean. It's all just because his wages were too high. Deluded, anyways. That club is buried. Their fan base, a lot of them, I feel sorry for the ones that have actually got some self-respect and some respect for what is a great club. You know what I mean. Me growing up, Chelsea always up there, winning trophies every year almost. Now they're just fucked. Now they are fucked. They're signing mediocre players, hyping up mediocre ballers. And, yeah. We do move on to, right? Apparently, hold on. Manchester United are looking at sign. I've just got it up here because I didn't know this geezer's name. I didn't know it existed. Let's talk in mutant orthologic. David Ornstein. Red alert. Exclusive. Man United working to appoint Christopher Vivell on an initial short-term basis to help with the summer transfer window. 37-year-old. Quite young. So he fits the profile, lads. That's quite young for that job. He fits the profile. It's a process. Even though he's coming on a short-term deal, he fits the profile. Trust the process. 37-year-old to lend expertise around talent ID, recruitment, multi-club model. Oh, the hipster, mate. The hipsters have got the lube out. The hipsters have got the lube out. The hipsters have got the lube out. Recruitment model, club model. Latest step to build out Manchester United's sporting structure. So apparently, we have also now got the Avengers assembled, and now we've got the Arrow in. Yeah, we've got the Avengers assembled, and now the Arrow's come in, and he's ready to, you know what I mean, short-term basis, one film only, and he's ready to land it, and he's ready to go out, and it launches expertise in his talent ID, and pick out some real gems in the market, and that Man United can exploit. Yeah, is that good orthologic? These lot are fucking hilarious. Some of the words they come out with. Yeah, proper, I mean, expertise. They really do try and sell it to you, don't they? Fuck me. Just say Man United are looking at getting a 37-year-old, which I don't understand why the age is meant. Hold on, let's go on the Dan Ashworth tweet. Is the Dan Ashworth tweet got the age on it? Oh, he has actually. Sorry, he has actually. I am mistaken. 53-year-old Dan Ashworth. Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, the 37-year-old is 16 years younger, so therefore he does fit the model of trust the process. He's only 37 years old, remember, guys, so you must give him time. You must give him time. He has to have time to develop. He has to have time for his brain to work, and, you know what I mean? It's just the normal, you know what I mean? Even though he comes on a short-term basis, just for the summer, you have to give him time. You have to give him time, right? Remember that, guys. Don't judge him too quickly, all right? You have to give him time. Yeah? Regards to him, I've never heard of him. I don't even know if he's coming from a club. Is he coming from a club? I don't know. I don't think he is. Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, we ain't going to get tied up like we were with Newcastle and, yeah, I mean, accused of nicking another player, another Sporting DOF, even though they nicked him off Brighton. I hope, by the way, when Newcastle go and get their replacement for Dan Ashworth, I hope he isn't at another club. I hope they get some random geezer. Yeah, I hope they get some random geezer that is unemployed. I expect so, because remember, it's wrong for Man United to do it, so surely it's wrong for Newcastle to do it as well, or does that logic only apply when it's against you? Is that mutant logic? Is that Geordie logic? Is that stupid Tin Pot Club logic? And yeah, and we're going to move on. Well, I don't really care about this football club, but it's just funny seeing all the hipsters pretend that they know this geezer. Archie Gray or something. 40 million to Spurs. I mean, what planet are the... Listen, Daniel Levy's supposed to be tight. Why on earth has he just spent 40 million on Archie Gray? I'll never know. I imagine there's got to be some sort of like 30 million or something, then 10 million add-ons, and Spurs have got to have had some sort of good relations with Leeds or something. It's got to be a bit, something's been tapped up there, because there's no way Daniel Levy's splashing 40 million on a defensive midfielder that's played one half decent season. Apparently, I've never watched him in the Championship. Yeah, and listen, he may or may not be good. I don't know. But stop pretending that he's good because he's had a half decent season in the Championship. At the end of the day, the only decent player that I've ever seen Leeds actually hype up and actually turn out to be good that I can remember is Ben White. Ben White wasn't even good at centre back where they said he was good at. Became good at right back. He wasn't really a good centre back. Whether this Archie Gray geezer is any good, I don't know. At the end of the day, he's part of a team that just failed in the Championship and failed to get promoted. Finished third, bottled second place, and then bottled the final. I don't know if he played. I don't know. As I say, I don't know. However, yeah, it is. As I said, oh fuck, my mind's gone blank. It is a bad deal. Until I get seen otherwise, until I prove otherwise. Just like all those Championship players Chelsea are hyping up, except with Spurs, we know Spurs never had high standards. But it's just going to be funny to see everyone hype up, or Spurs fans especially hype up this geezer, and he's just like, have you ever watched him? How many of you have actually watched him? And do you actually think that just because you watch him in the Championship, do you actually think that means that he's going to be a good player in Premier League? We don't know. As I say, I don't know. I haven't watched him. But it's just funny, isn't it? It's just funny. Fucking everyone seems to think that their expertise on players like this Xerxes geezer Man United has signed, and to be fair, I haven't seen a lot of Man United fans talk about it as much. I think they're more hyping up De Ligt and Branthwaite, but at least that's because they've watched him. I haven't really seen Man United fans pretend that Xerxes is anything special because they haven't watched him. Yeah, but Bologna is the next like hipster team. I mean, we had Brighton the season before. I'm sure there's been other teams that I can't really think of. But yeah, they're the hipster team. They're the hipster manager, Thiago Motta, and all these players. That fucking centre back that plays for Italy. I'm convinced people only rate him because he's got the 4-letter word beginning with A, which is aura. Which, by the way, in normal logic, right, translated into English means I fancy the footballer. But I won't say that. I'll hide it up and cover it up in tinfoil and say it's aura. No, mate, you fancy him. Yeah, and yeah. With that Archie Gray geezer, may or may not be a decent player. At the end of the day, Spurs aren't going to do nothing. Angie's probably going to get sacked this season. They're not doing what's required. They're not signing top players. And yeah, it'll be another season of mediocrity. I can't wait, mate, honestly. English football's buried. I really hope if Ratcliffe and that don't even need to be amazing. Like these new owners that come into United, these new board directors, they literally just need to be good and they'll win trophies. It's true, they'll win trophies. They might not win every fucking year, but they'll win trophies. 1000%. Because every English club hypes up mediocrity. Yeah, Tim Pot stubbornness from clubs like Newcastle, who did the same thing that's just happened to them, they did to someone else. And it was a problem. It's now a problem that happens to them. Work that one out. You lose them how you get them. But as we'll say, thanks for watching. That's football talk for the foreseeable future until I feel whatever needs to be spoken about. Yeah, rant over, talk over. Cheers.